Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, and I'm back from Jaffa Port, where I was yesterday, and I hope you enjoyed, albeit short but sweet broadcast. Yes, I hope to see many of you next week visiting places like the Jaffa Port, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Haifa, and all those wonderful places all over our country as Israel opens up to those who are vaccinated. And just a reminder, if you're not sure what the criteria are, please either check our Ministry of Health page or check your local embassy or consulate. But we cannot wait to welcome so many of you who we've missed over the last year or so back to the state of Israel. But you're here for your news, so let me give it to you. Now, over 200 actors, producers, agents, celebrities have signed a letter written by the Creative Community for Peace, denouncing calls to boycott the upcoming Tel Aviv Film Festival. This is a film festival that showcases some of the best LGBTQ films from around the world, and signatories include people like Dame Helen Mirren. No wonder she plays the Queen, because she is a queen. Emmanuel Shrieky, Mila Kunis. Very interesting to see Stephen Fry's name there. Stephen Fry has been a great critic of Israel, but great to see him standing against boycott. Simon Keller, Chaim Saban, Mayim Bialik, and so many who are saying that, film festivals and movies, these kinds of cultural activities bring together Jews, Arabs, Muslim Jews, people from all cultures, ethnicities, and sexual orientations, and are great vehicles for building dialogue. So it's really great to see Hollywood taking a stand against the calls for boycotts. And just a reminder to anybody who is watching, Israel is probably the only place in the Middle East where an LGBTQ film festival can be held. In other news, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Gilad Erdan, met yesterday with the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, as well as the Special Envoy on Anti-Semitism for the UN Alliance of Civilizations, Miguel Moratinos. He urged them to get the institution, that is the United Nations as a body, to adopt IHRA, which is the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism. And this lays out the parameters by which we judge or which we view something or a statement as being anti-Semitic. Now, there have been critics of IHRA saying that it does crush any criticism of Israel. It specifically doesn't. It does state quite unequivocally that you can criticize policies of Israel, but to single out Israel and to judge Israel by different standards and to say that Israel doesn't have a right to exist as the nation state of the Jewish people, that is anti-Semitic. Now, should the United Nations adopt the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, it would behold all its bodies, including the very anti-Israel UN Human Rights Council, to abide by its doctrine. So let's see, fingers crossed, let's hope that the United Nations puts its money where its mouth is and doesn't just talk about fighting anti-Semitism, but puts the processes in place that stops it from spreading. We go now to Saudi Arabia, and the Saudi government have banned the financial backers of Hizbollah as a terror organization. This follows a lot of interference, in the Saudis' opinion, of Hizbollah in Lebanese politics, and it's a very big step in the right direction against fighting terror. And our last story, we end on a high. Israel is gearing up to host the Miss Universe pageant, which will take place on the 5th of December at the seaside city of Eilat. Yes, we are looking forward to welcoming a bevy of beauty queens from around the world who will be at the five-star resort to represent their country. Now, it hasn't been without its controversy, and while we are excited to see acts like Noah Kirel perform alongside what what will be a phenomenal night of entertainment. One Chief Mandela, the grandson of the famed anti-apartheid activist and human rights icon Nelson Mandela, has called for the competition to be boycotted. He says that Israel is an oppressive apartheid state, and we must just remind Mr. Mandela that we have hosted Eurovision, Giro Italia, and could possibly be hosting the FIFA World Cup. This is because the world does not view Israel as an apartheid state. And we also would like to remind Mr. Mandela that in many parts of the Middle East where there isn't gender equality, women such as Palestinian women are not allowed to participate in this kind of pageant. But we've also heard from a phenomenal lady, a former Miss Iraq, Sarah Idan. She has weighed in on this, encouraging the beauty queens to participate, saying, come to Israel, look at the situation on the ground as it exists. You be the judge of whether or not Israel, which is a multi-ethnic democracy, is in fact an apartheid state. And she also said to Mr. Mandela, who are you to decide what young empowered women should do? South Africa's representative has said that she looks forward to competing in the pageant, and we look forward to welcoming her and the rest of the contestants to our shores just a few weeks away. So those are your top stories as we head into the weekend. Don't forget to read our original content on our website at www.layoftheland.online. We have an article up by one of our co-founders, Dave Kaplan, asking, why did a Chilean newspaper find it reputable to publish an article paying tribute to Nazi General Hermann Göring? Go read it. It's up there. It's up on our Facebook page. You can find us at Lottle site. All you have to do is like or follow us. We love to welcome you to our community. And if you do see our content, please consider sharing it. We are also on YouTube, and you can find us at The Israel Brief. Like, share, follow our content, and please consider subscribing by clicking on the red subscribe button below. And we're on Twitter, as all good twits should be, and you can find us at Lay of the Land with the digit 5. So as we head into the weekend and many of you are gearing up to come and visit us, I just want to wish you all a safe, a peaceful and a healthy weekend. We'll check in with you on Monday for your top stories making headlines in Israel. I'm Rolene Marks, wishing you all Shabbat Shalom, a wonderful weekend wherever you are.